My country tis the sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims pride, from every mountain side.
Ken will introduce our speaker today, and here's Ken.
Good afternoon, Lions. Got a late phone call last night from Hawaii. Pat Palmer has not found a storage unit for our equipment yet, so nothing in Hawaii either, so I'm stuck with it. Anyhow, he called and asked if I'd fill in for him today. For our guest speaker, he totally forgot that he's comes to us from, moved into the city of Longview back in 1969 from Port of Longview and graduated. Believe it or not, he graduated from Morris High School, and from there he went to Western Washington University to take on history and business. For many years he's owned and operated several businesses, and he is very strong in preserving local history, including the rebuilding of the historic 19 which all of us have seen over in the parking lot. Can we finish our introduction? Sit down then until we do. Also, Jeff is very passionate, and his family all share the same enthusiasm that they have on the city locomotive and his activity in the 23 Club for the city of Longview and Cowlitz County, mainly Longview. I've known Jeff for quite a while, maybe too long. We've done a lot of things together, worked together, and Jeff has a firm belief that everyone is essential. All people, all workers, and all those involved in employment. Everybody is essential. Our speaker and his wife have helped local businesses by going to work assisting those struggling with the current pandemic. Our guest speakers also quote us something saying very important in believing whether it's cleaning toilets or washing dishes, all workers are needed and remarked. This is a quote from Jeff Wilson himself. Please don't let anyone tell you that you are not essential. For over 8 years, our guest, his wife Trish, and a host of volunteers have been picking up people trash along our roads and highways and helping to give the vision of our Lions motto, "We serve," a great boost in our community. We will be giving you an application for the club, by the way, so that you can fulfill that motto that we have. Anyhow, with that, fellow Lions and guests, it is my privilege, my honor, to present our Port Commissioner, Longview Port Commissioner, our Senator from the 19th Legislative District, and our guest speaker today, Senator Jeff Wilson.
Thank you, Ken, very much, my friend. Well, thank you very much. You know, I'm waiting for the cat calls. We already had to endure Mr. Metzger reminding us that, yes, my homework assignments are late. The dog ate them story didn't work. But I go way back with a number of you as a citizen and a colleague to you in this community. And on today when I came here, I looked outside and said, yeah, the sun is shining. And you know, come on, Longview, we got this wonderful weather today to shine amongst us during this lunch hour. So I'm going to be brief and not ruin the sunshine, not ruin your meal, but to tell you how really honored I am to be here amongst friends like Ken and others I have known a very long time. And that's the fabric that weaves us together as our relationships we've fostered over the years. Well, here goes your dual-headed story. The kind of the state of affairs on Olympia basics and Port of Longview basics. Let's start with the Port of Longview. Thank you to all. I was recently re-elected for my second and my final term as a port commissioner. I say this very openly, as I've also dropped a bill as a senator for a 2-term limit. It doesn't mean that you can't continue to serve your community in politics. It just means you may want to get out of that chair and you can go to another chair. There are plenty of chairs and opportunities to serve your people, per se, or constituents. You don't have to own that seat for the rest of your life. So this is my final term. You have 6 more years of me as a port commissioner. Listen, we just turned 100 years old this year at the port. Now we know the city of Longview is going to have bragging rights in 2023, but the port came out first. And having a birthday party during the COVID, boy, does that prevent challenges. Despite the party or no party, the Port of Longview is something for you to be very proud of. When I first took my seat in 2016, been aggressive to create a port that would sustain and get into that 21st century without going broke. Let's face it, everybody, a lot of times in business, money matters. And the Port of Longview has not only proven to be resilient, it's proven to be highly profitable. This year alone, I think we're only going to bank about $10 million net after paying the bills. So if you don't hit me up for any money, I think Ken's stashing all the money here. But the port has done well for you, and that's something that you need to know. You know, it's a real big team effort. We have stakeholders from our staff to our unions, our tradesmen, and of course our customers, and that matters. The port employs a lot of people, but we're never, ever done with what we need to do. And that is to continue to build employment opportunities. You know, the ports are a very easy district, special purpose district. We were created in 1911 by a bunch of lawmakers, and the thesis is you need to provide a return on investment for your community. And the Port of Longview is doing that. Sometimes the pace needs to be slowed up or sped up, but either way, we're headed in the right direction. I couldn't be more proud of the port. And for those that get a chance, come down and visit your White House. This isn't the White House of Washington, D.C. This is your White House, the 1938 Long Bell building that really is one of the last pieces of the Long Bell legacy. We remodeled it. We put about $2.4 million of your money and other people's money into it, but we did so without taxing or levying you to do that. And we're very proud of that, to showcase that we preserved history at the port. So even tomorrow night, you'll have the opportunity, if you want to come down to the White House. We do have a public tax hearing starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. You can come down and say, I want to pay more taxes. I don't want to pay any taxes at all, or maybe somewhere in between. But ultimately, that's what I wanted to provide with you, is the opportunity to speak up. And that's at 6 o'clock tomorrow. For those that don't want to do it in person, then do it on Zoom. But please, I encourage you to speak up. Part of my job is to, believe it or not talk all the time. I actually spend most of my time listening. So tomorrow night is a very important part of the process. We will do your bidding, but we need to know how you feel. You know, the Lions are a very important part of our community, and as I look amongst my friends here, I do want to make sure that I recognize all the good that you do. Despite me telling you stories of how long I've known you, how neat and special you are, you need to accept the fact that you are. You're just plain good people with a great heart and a purpose. And nowadays we seem to be a little lost at times. Your focus has never wavered, and for that you always will have my appreciation. So your port's doing great. It's going to do great things. I can't tell you any of the surprises coming in the future because Right now during the COVID, we don't want any more surprises. Enough with that. So let's move to Olympia. I am the state senator now for the 19th legislative district, and I cover Grays Harbor, Wahkiakum, Pacific, parts of Lewis, and, okay, Dwayne Smith, don't tell everybody, but my favorite, Cowlitz County. And in doing so, boy, these are trying political times. I can assure you that the state is doing very well. In fact, just think about this. Last February, we were $8 billion in the hole. And I know, Terry, that may be pocket change to you and some other people here in the room, but listen, we overcame that. The state of Washington fiscally is doing very well. Now, socially and structurally, I will argue that we're not. We have lots of roads that we need to take to improve our transparency and get past this COVID. And as Ken had said, and thank you, Ken, for that, I spent a lot of time preaching that we are all essential. With your mask, without your mask, with your vaccination or without your vaccination, we're still human beings. And we need each other. We need each other to get through this. And so I constantly encourage people to the time of our everyday lives is to be kind to each other. You know, civil unrest doesn't mean we have to act uncivilly. And that's something I respect about the Senate in Olympia. We have a very strict decorum. Yes, I have to comb my hair. I have to put a tie on. I even have to smile, and I have to watch every word I use. But we do so, we talk about ugly business in a nice way. And for that, I want to reassure you, despite everything you may see on the paper, there is a system, and that needs to be respected. So this year's session is going to be a very short session. It's not the time to get a whole lot into money. It's a supplemental budget year. Last year, we spent a lot of your money, and we've tattooed you and said you're going to pay a lot more as the times go on. We spent a lot of money, and you know, that's not for debate. It's just to let you know that I think this year you may get a little bit of reprieve. We're really not going to have that much time to punish you. So with that said, you know, politics is hard to avoid nowadays. We all look at the newspaper. If you reach for the TV, there are many times it's depressing. I mean, come on. We turn the TV on and we see people falling off the wings of airplanes in Kabul, Afghanistan. We come home to unrest at our fronts, whether it's domestic here in our state business. And I constantly tell everybody, you've got to be patient. We are going to get through this. You know, as Americans or Lions, we can defeat anything, or at least we can come together and do so in a manner that is respectable. So, if you know, there's a lot of hot topics coming up at the Senate this year. I made my way up very quickly. I'm now the ranking member of the state government elections. I also serve on the Transportation Committee. I serve on the Health and Long-Term Care Committee. I'm now the vice chairman of the Rail Caucus, and there's a bunch of other things I do to keep very busy. And a lot of people say, you're ball hogging. Come on, Jeff, you've got 2 elected positions. Let's hold on, everybody. It is not a conflict of interest. We have a part-time legislature, and a port commissioner position is also part-time. It's not a conflict of any way, it's a complement of interest. I speak fluent dams, salmon, orca, and cargo, all these things that you get as a port commissioner. And using that experience and knowledge, I get to apply it in the Senate. And it's served us very well. I have co-sponsored and sponsored many bills. And let me give you an example. Despite all the arguing going on about the pandemic, we still have some things we need to do for our everyday lives. Let me give you an example. I dropped a bill called the Catalytic Converter Bill. Has anybody in this room know of somebody, or have you been the victim of a catalytic converter theft? Well, I have. Many of us have. And so, despite the ongoing partisan arguments, we still need to do your business. We need to do legislation that matters. Legislation that will affect your everyday life. So, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm not interested in beating the governor or vice versa, because frankly, it's really not the method that's going to get us to where we need to be. However, I am the co-sponsor, and being ranking on state government and elections, I've never shied away from emergency powers. Absolutely, a governor should be able to declare emergencies. Somebody needs to do it. Whether it's a forest fire, a tsunami, a mudslide, emergencies happen. And they're usually not the good emergencies, and you need to take action immediately. But 600 and some days later, we're still in an emergency. So my position in Olympia is to focus on a bill called Senate Bill 5039. It's going to be renamed called the Balance Act, which is going to represent everybody as it should be. Should not matter whether the governor is the gender of the governor. It should never matter the party of a governor, red or blue or other color. It should be irrelevant. What we're interested in transparency for a public process, and that's what I seek. This is not to despair anybody, and I know politics is usually a bad lunch topic, but I wanted you to know when you hired me and you voted me, this is my methodology. I live obviously in a red caucus, but there's more to me than that. I also helped form what's called the Freedom Caucus in Olympia. There are 6 senators total in the Freedom Caucus. And we're not interested in red or blue. We're interested in your Constitution, our Constitution. And there's a couple of them. There's our federal Constitution and there's our state Constitution. And like Ken had said, I talked about workers, everybody being essential. I think both constitutions are also essential. It's time that we relook to people that founded our places long before us. They got a lot of things right. It's easy to armchair quarterback and to say, look at this. But our constitutions are really the Bible or the DNA of how we operate. We operate our government and we interact with each other. So I'm looking really to not reinvent the world, ladies and gentlemen, but to get us right back on track where we should have been all along. Looking at things through the lens of our beginnings and through our constitutions. So I don't want to give anything other than, please remember there's hope. And I mentioned that part about turning on the TV and reading the newspaper. I offer to people, please remember that you don't get your news from Facebook. There's much more to that. Rely on each other, be patient, and be kind, and we're going to get through this. Throwing rocks at one another will get you nowhere except rocks thrown at you. There's nothing else to be gained. So I wanted to offer that to you because sometimes my reputation may be that I'm aggressive. Absolutely I'm aggressive. I was hired to do your bidding through the constitutional democratic republic. That didn't mean to go hide in the corner into the fetal position. It meant to represent you and everybody. Once elected, you do represent all genres and all walks of life. And I'm really proud to do that. Whether you're a minority or a majority, again, that's irrelevant. The Constitution doesn't segregate such, and neither will I. So the challenge is going forward. I have a lot of things I'll be presenting this year in the very short session, but relax. None of those include give me more money. My firm belief on the fiscal actions of the Senate and the House of Representatives is that we're doing fine. We could always use more money. That's a never-ending quest. But how we choose to spend our money, it's a lot like the Raiders of the Lost Ark and that scene where somebody's asked to choose a cup, and the famous tagline from that movie is choose wisely. Because there are many cups to choose from, but always be prepared to choose that cup that matters the most, that'll affect the most to all of us as we interact. And usually I'm famous, I could go on for days and hours, but Ken's going to give me the hook. And is it proper for the Lions etiquette if we ask questions or open that up?
Questions.
Then that is what I'd like to do. Are there any questions? Cindy?
What do you think about this new bill about long-term care? I think it's ridiculous. I checked it with the private sector. It would cost you, I think, between $500 and $700 a month to have that along with the life. Who has that kind of money?
Well, the bottom line is, she's referring to what started out as House Bill 1323. It is the long-term health care tax. It is a payroll tax. And in return, that tax is supposed to say, you're all going to contribute. Every single human being in the state of Washington that generates a W-2 is going to be enrolled into this lifetime tax. And I say lifetime because you only have from October behind us now until the end of this month, technically, to what's called opt-out. You will never, ever, ever be allowed to opt out of this again. And what it is intended to do is to provide long-term health care and a little bit of support. It costs money to take care of our loved ones in long-term health care. I mean, my father passed this year. Prior to him passing, we have, as a family, had needed assistance with long-term health care. This bill, or this law now, excuse me, it is a law, it says, listen, we're going to take 0.058% of your payroll, we're going to put it into a fund for long-term health care, and in return, you're going to get $36,500 a lifetime benefit, or $100 a day. When my father was ailing and slipping fast, the care costs continued to climb. That really would have supported my father for 3 to 5 months of care. That was it. But he never would have gotten that because at $100 a day, it's still not enough. It wasn't good enough. But you are stuck with it. There are two ways out of it. One, of course, is if the legislature drops a bill, and there are several people that will. And there's an initiative, I-1436, which is being circulated. You can sign it at Line X here in Longview if you so choose. It's an ugly tax. And that's because certain friends of mine, every once in a while, they'd like to leave Longview and move to Las Vegas. Welcome back, Ken. So in doing that, once you leave the state, snowbird, want to retire someplace else, you're cut off. For the young people that start at age 18 and you get enrolled in this tax, you will pay gazillions of dollars all your entire life before you somehow get that $36,500 benefit. So my issue was, it was the good thought, but it wasn't thought through good enough. Obviously, you could tell by my tone, I was a major no vote on it. I wanted concessions because I know for a fact that your premium is not going to be increased. Excuse me, I'm sorry, your benefit is not going to be increased, but your premiums are. Right off the bat, be looking for maybe this session another increase to a tax that starts in January. If you haven't opted out, forever hold your peace. So this wasn't how I intended to show up and talk about these taxes. A good idea, but it was done wrong. No, so forever hold your peace in January, Cindy. The tax man is going to come and taketh away, regardless of what you say. There's two methods for us to repeal it. And that is something I have already signed on to, is to repeal. We should have had a different discussion. And if you do take money from somebody, give them their money's worth. My heavens, you will be paying for years. And for us that may be older, I'm in the Geritol portion of my life now. Let's say I enrolled in this, well, it's automatically enrolled. What if I retire in 2 or 3 or 4 years? I will receive no benefit whatsoever. So with caution, and we did all of this under the cloak and cover of COVID. Last year, I didn't see any of you in Olympia. That's because you were not allowed. My first day on the job, there was a fence around the Capitol. There were helicopters, German Shepherds, National Guardsmen with real bullets in their guns, Thurston County Sheriff, Washington State Police, Olympia Police Department, and mutual aid from 2 other police agencies. Even I could not get into the legislative building. The building has been closed to the public. This year we're having talks of a whopping 24 of you, human beings, to be allowed into your building. The Senate now is considering only allowing 24 members of the public to enter the legislative building this year. I have protested. We'll wait and see how that goes. And what I'm looking for is emergencies happen. But let's fix it together. One person rule, no disrespect. I do not want to be the governor. You heard it first here now. We need to share the decision-making process. We do it here at the Lions Club. We do it in our everyday lives. So that's what I'm seeking. I'm seeking for a balanced act. In fact, the Bill of Emergency Powers has now been renamed the Balanced Act Approach. It finally does have huge bipartisan approach. I'm hoping to get it in committee. Yes, sir.
Now, Bill, I have three things quickly. First of all, thank you to the port for what they've done out at the Grove. I love it. I'm out there a lot, and things are nicer and getting nicer all the time. So thank you for that. The second item that I have is you spoke about the Afghanis that are being brought to the United States. I'd like you to talk more about that a little bit. And then I wonder how long it's going to be, or how long you think it's going to be, before the Puget Sound area folks vote in the taking down of our dams on the Snake.
Okay, let's start out with life is a beach. The Port of Longview is proud to offer up that beach, that Willow Grove Park. In fact, look back at when we first were told to stay inside, stay safe. That park has served as some form of sanctuary for many of us to go walk our dogs, walk ourselves, watch a ship or two. It's been an invaluable resource to our mental health and quality of place. We're proud, John, and we're going to continue to make Willow Grove the park it will be. It gets better and better. As far as the Afghan issue goes, I want you to know that, yeah, I do speak a lot. You may hear me speak, but watch my actions. My family and I have signed up to host a refugee family or two from Afghan. I don't want to get involved in the politics. I'm not a military person. I can't critique whether it was done right or wrong, but I know that there are families in needs. And we also know that, relax, we're not going to import people that are not vetted. We're not going to parachute terrorists into our communities. In fact, Washington has a very limited amount. We'd be lucky if we get 1,500, maybe 2,000 of these families. I was proud to sign up to host one of those families. I haven't received word yet, but that's my way of being international while we sit here in Longview, Washington for others, without judgment. There is safety protocol on that. So I have no knowledge of when or where, but Trish and I have opened up our home, and we would wish others would consider to do that. The fear and phobias are unfounded. We're not bringing in, like I say, terrorists of any way, shape, or form. What we're doing is we're doing what America should always be doing, and that is leading on humanitarian efforts and leading in our ideology. Land of the free. We need to not only be free ourselves, but also provide freedom for others. Whether it's in Castle Rock, Winlock, Kabul, Afghanistan. The world is circular, so sooner or later, John, we're going to run into each other. If we start now, 32,000 miles later, I'll see you on the other side. Any other questions?
It's about the dams.
Yeah, thank you. The dams. Let me tell you the dams. Damn, we're in a lot of nonsense. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. My record is incredibly clear as a port commissioner, as a senator. Tearing down the dams is like tearing down your quality of life. And I'm not going to despair cultures. I'm not going to get into orcas and eating salmon. What I'm going to get into is a balanced approach. Tearing a dam down is not a balanced approach. For every kilowatt you lose, you need to replace. We don't have it. Solar and wind contributes no more than 3 to 4% of our total power. I know I have a solar system at my house, and today it's doing good, but my windmill isn't turning. So until we get to where we want to be, we need to do it in transitional steps versus beating each other over the head with ramifications that are permanent. And there's been no doubt that I will continue to support that the lower Snake River dams needs to stay in place, because without it, we're going to go backwards. And the thought of us getting up at night and wanting to have that snack at 10 o'clock at night, and we all reach for that light switch and we move it to the up position, it needs to work. And it's not just so I can get that snack, it's so that Peace Health can continue to operate on people. It's so that you can continue to move about into our modern world, whether you're for whatever reasons, electricity is going to matter. We don't have a better plan. And I will offer up, I will debate anybody, anytime, anywhere, in a very civil manner. The silliness to take that lower Columbia dams out, especially the Snake River's dam. It's a conversation we need to have, and I thought we've had it long enough, John. We've been talking about this. Governor Inslee has commissioned yet another study to tear the granite dams down, that dam. So, you know, the fight is beginning again, and I do get it. Believe me, I do get it. There must be a balance between cultural respect for our tribal people before us, the food source, the salmon, whether we eat it or an orca eats it. There has to be a better way before we completely box ourselves into the corner, damn it. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
You through.
I'm done. Thank you.
Jeff, before you sit down, stand up, go ahead and sit down. One thing to get all the people, especially all the Lions Club, really interested and up to date on what you're doing. We have an application for you. This is to join Pioneer Lions Club, and Greg Firth is sitting right over there, and he'd be more than happy to finish filling out the work form for you.
Thank you.
With that, we would also like to present you with a beverage mug. For you to take and sit it on the desk in Olympia so that people see the Pioneer Lions are for real. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Greg, on membership drive.
President Acting Lloyd, fellow guests, got 3 announcements today. First one is the membership luncheon we're going to have here in 2 weeks. Can I see a show of hands of any Lions that have somebody lined up to bring that particular day? Got one there, one over there. Okay, we got to start. We're going back there. Okay, great. When you get a chance, give those names to me so I have a kind of a running total on those. The second announcement is the Walk and Dog Food Drive. That's coming up December 4th. We are going to do it the same as we did last year. It's going to be a drive and drop again. We'll be out at the Walmart and Ocean Beach Highway. That will not take very many Lions to fill those positions. And then third announcement, Sight and Hearing Foundation meeting is tomorrow night at Cadbury Park, 6:30. Anybody that wants to attend is more than welcome to see what we do. We do have quite a few applications for eyeglasses and hearing aids, so thank you.
Carry on the jumbo toy run.
Carry on, carry on.
Thank you. President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. It is that time of year, so if you have not heard of the Jumbo's Toy Run yet, please get with me and I'd be happy to share the information. But we've got sign-ups over here, and every year we have collected toys for the event too. So don't forget to mark your calendars. November 28th is traffic control for the Jumbo's Toy Run. So we're going to meet over at the Kelso Elks at noon. The run promptly starts at 1 p.m. I put some little sticky notes over there. If you need reminders, you could grab one of those. But we need tons of people. So remember, it's a very short time frame that we need you that day. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving, but we need a lot of people to block those streets for that run. And if you've never seen it, you need to come help us and see it. It's amazing.
It is indeed.
Okay, Louis.
Acting President Lloyd, and members and guests, we're still looking for a building, Jeff, for our Green Green stuff, Jeff. And anyway, if somebody has an empty building or knows somebody that might have one, please let us know. We have to move that stuff out of what used to be Millennium, and now it's Alcoa. Alcoa wants us to move it all out. So, anyway, we need some help. Jeff.
Rex.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. We have a few work parties coming up for Lions Island Lights. We'll start Saturday morning at 9 o'clock down at the shop to haul all the lights and start getting everything over there to set up. Wednesday morning at 7, the city will be down there to start putting the lights up in the trees. And then the following Saturday, the 20th, at 9 o'clock, we'll be down there to do all the ground lights. I'll re-announce again next week.
Do we need somebody walking the light?
Yeah, we'll need, there's 4 or 5 people down there that Wednesday morning.
Is that shop? Is that the shop
Wait, no, Lions Island.
on Wednesday
Yeah. Next Wednesday.
at Lions Island?
Cindy on visitation.
President Tom, members and guests, we have Battleground Thursday night. It's over there. What?
Lloyd.
Sorry, Tom. Lloyd. Sorry.
That dude up there.
Okay, Ken had a,
Just real quick message for the month of December for our meetings. December 7th will be our officials governor's meeting here for the club. The 14th be Ken Hash from the city of Longview.
I was gonna do that.
The 21st is, going to be the Mark Morris Choir. And then the 28th will be awards. That's the schedule. Cindy's gonna have it all put out shortly. If she remembers.
If 14th is who? 14th is who?
Ash.
You did tell me.
okay. White ticket, are we ready?
No. Can we do a little tail twisting there, acting President Lloyd?
Okay. Hey,
Happy dollars. Let's do some happy dollars. Who's up? Come on. Here we go. Let's go with the lady first, shall we, John? Okay. Fine, Cindy.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I have some happy dollars.
Oh, okay.
I was happy to speak with Russ Case, past President Russ Case yesterday. He goes, Cindy, I apologize for not calling you back. I've had your note in my pocket for 3 weeks, but he did call me back. He's doing well. He had to go into, and I gave this some information to Margie. He is going for a shot this morning for his hip. He's still having back issues after his back surgery that he had. Happy dollar, talked to Tracy. She wants me to come back. I said, you know, it's kind of a spendy trip. So we're talking about going to Texas and seeing Keith and his family in May. So, woohoo!
Past President John.
Oh.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, most of you here know that I am an avid bivalve hunter, and I want to announce the best success I've had since probably I was 19 years old. It was a wonderful weekend. A couple of years ago.
How many minutes?
Lion Skip.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I have $1.50. Yes, John has problems, a challenge, not problem. He has a challenge sometimes with his counting of clams. And when we get back to the vehicle, yeah, well, 26 is a little much, but yeah, we scurried off of the beach. And anyway, and I also wanted to thank Senator Wilson for being here. Former student of mine from a long time ago, last century, and you never had to go outside with me, did you? No. Anyway, thanks for paying attention in social studies.
Fine, Dwayne.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, my happy buck is for a wonderful meeting last night at Kalama Lions. And I took our newest member, Gretchen Jones, there for her visitation. And they haven't been meeting for, I don't know, over a year in person. So they had a very nice meeting, and our district governor gave a great speech.
District Governor Maryland, would you, I see a happy dollar there for something.
Yeah.
Acting President Lloyd, here's a happy dollar, but no, it's actually kind of a tough dollar, sad dollar, whatever you want to call it. But Steve just mentioned next Monday he's having rotator cuff surgery, so my DG Uber driver is going to be handicapped, and that means he has to live with my driving.
That could be interesting. Yeah, pass, District Governor Mark.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, first dollar is a very happy dollar. We finally added to our grandchildren. Josie Kate was born last Wednesday, so that was good news. Second dollar is a gratitude dollar. This week is Veterans Day. I'd like to say a strong thank you to all the veterans that serve this country. Really deeply appreciate that. And the third is a tell on myself fine. I had the best of intentions of signing up and attending online the Multiple District 19 convention, which I thought about Saturday night after it was over.
We have Ryan Walters back.
Oops.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a few happy dollars here in honor of our speaker today, Jeff. Thank you once again. And also, it's an opportunity for me to take a moment. I brought a couple of sweatshirts from home that are almost brand new. And yes, they are. They were, they're an XL. Two of them are XL, and they're from a little different time for me. So, if I'm not trying to sell these, I'm just simply trying to give them away. If someone could use an XL sweatshirt, like new condition, just come up and take one, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Pass on chair, Frank.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. First dollar, I took the opportunity to go to Alice Minion's memorial on Sunday. We lost her as well as Gary Hill and the other one was John Power. Anyway, the nice turnout for her, very nice lady. And I met Richie's sister there. Richie is, of course, Alice's daughter. The other one is happy dollar for Veterans Day. It's a whole lot nicer now than it was 50 years ago for us vets. And I would like all the vets in the room just to stand up, please.
Back to carry on, carry on.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, my happy dollar is that I'm gone next week. We're taking our family, really, but granddaughter, to Disneyland for her first airplane Disneyland trip. He's staying home. You.
Smart move. Capstone Chair Steve.
Thank you, President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. This is just a happy birthday dollar to Mike Parker.
Here we go. How much not to sing? How much not to sing?
Yeah, how much you gonna pay?
How much you gonna? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Happy birthday.
Acting President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, today is first of the month Spirit Day, so I didn't wear a spirit. But anybody else that doesn't have any garbs on that shows the Lions. Oh, it was last week. Oh well, I'll put the money in anyway.
Yeah, President Bill.
President in waiting, Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, this started out to be a very happy $20, but it's turned out to be $20 that's part happy. Anyway, the happy part is that last week I finished the New York Times Sunday crossword, and the reason that it deserves 20 is because I start at least 20 of them for every one I finish. On a sadder note, if you've received something that looks like it comes from me having to do with LCIF, my Facebook has been hacked, and I apologize, but there it is. And then the check is in the mail. And for any of you who might have attended, based on my invitation, the service of remembrance last week, I unfortunately had a sinus infection and had to miss it. However, the good news of that is as soon as they hear sinus infection, they say, go get a COVID test, and I am negative.
That's a hack of a deal, isn't it?
Oh, gee.
Blind Doug.
Acting President Louis, fellow Lions and guests, one happy dollar, our son.
Louis.
Boy, you don't get no respect.
Excuse me,
Please,
Lloyd.
I'm not the president.
What happened to Louis? Anyway, our son gets his cast off his thumb Thursday, which is a good deal, but the other hand, he gets back playing his clarinet.
Oh.
So that's kind of a good deal.
Kind of. That's District Governor Jim.
Acting Chief Lion Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, that was $2. $1 is because I'm here. I got up this morning and looked around, and I wasn't under the grass, I was over it, and my name wasn't in the obits and the papers, so I'm here. The other one is about 50 years ago, as Greg said, some of us were in Southeast Asia enjoying the sunshine and the fresh air, and they're called veterans, and proud of every one of them.
Yep.
And last but not least, our good friend, David, Uncle David. Okay, we're kind of short on time, David, so. Okay.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. Something that came to my attention, and I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to be very brief with this. Biblically, it says in the Bible, everybody is God's children. We're all God's children. But we're also all young at heart. You know, whether we're 5, 10, 30, 60, we're all young at heart. I'd like to put it that way. And God bless you, and I'll sing God Bless America, and then we'll end it with that. God bless America, land. You can sing along with me. Go ahead. Let me start over. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night from the light to the oceans, white with foams. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well done, David. Acting President Lloyd, it's all yours.
All right. Okay, for Facility Secretary Cindy.
I went over here. President Lloyd, members and guests, we have a few senilities. Walt Speck. You checked in your wife, but you forgot yourself. And then birthday boy, Pat and Mike Parker. And I wanted to share too that on Zoom we have Bill Pontius and Pat Colton that joined us today. The Parkers and Walt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that, Jerry.
What do you think, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, reviewing the programs are coming up, Carrie Ann with their Jumbo Toy Run, November 28th. That'd be at the Kelso Elks over there. And Visitation Battleground this week. And site hearing meeting Thursday, right, Greg? Wednesday, okay. And they're looking for help with putting the Christmas lights up this week. And Margie, nothing up Margie. Sunshine? Okay. We'll do the tickets. Are we ready? White ticket, 473 765.
He always wins. You had the white ticket, you never lose. You don't ever casino in Washington.
Is it Friday Club?
Okay, the red ticket, 391 150.
Where you want it to go? Thank you.
Okay, baked goods,
Acting President Lloyd, first pick goes to Ken Farrell. And whatever is left over goes to Jim Reed.
they bring the box out.